Bienvenidos a todos. Welcome everyone. I am the Seamster, and you're probably wondering to yourself, hey, whatever happened to part 4? Well, there's been a lot of things going on in my life. One, summer, beach, that's where I live. Yeah, sand, water, sun, you know them kind of things. So listen, I know part 4 is coming right now, but let me tell you some things that have been happening. One, trying to build a pole barn on some property. So, I'm cutting some trees down. 2, yeah, you've seen it, I'm at the beach. 3, hey, come on. I've been in the hospital a couple times. Why? Because of this thing called vertigo. Never had it before. Hey, it's not fun. Sometimes you fall down. But there's a lot of things been going on. Been building a deck, working on cars. Life, it just don't stop, everybody. You gotta keep doing things all the time. And now, here I am. I made some time. I'm gonna get going, show you guys this is part 4 of how to build a successful STFU food truck. So the windows that I'm going to be using are a storm window. They're lightweight, they're aluminum, they're easy to handle, and the windows are easy to slide back and forth. Are they very much, do they work for security? No, but remember this, if somebody wants to get into your food truck and you don't have a protective, some type of metal door to go over the window, they're gonna get into the truck or trailer regardless of what you do to it. Because if somebody wants in there, they're gonna get in there, okay? Because basically you got windows all the way around. But I'm just doing this because it's lightweight and there's already gonna be enough weight on the truck by itself. So this window here, somebody asked me, hey, what are the measurements? What are the measurements of the window? What are you using? Okay, so I'm using an aluminum storm window that I got at Home Depot. This window right here, this smaller one, this is going to be a 34 1/8 by 36 5/8. And my opening is going to be probably about maybe 1/4 of an inch larger, and I'll just trim that out. And then when that FRP board goes over it, you won't even tell, and then I'll just simply go ahead and caulk all the way around that. The bigger window, the service window, and then the window that's going on the passenger side, it's a lot larger window, and that window there is, again, 34 1/8 for the height, and the overall length is 52 5/8. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the truck and just give you a little snippet of what I'm doing, because all I'm doing is cutting these out, and then I'm going to put the windows in and mount them. So here we go. That was a bee. I'm allergic. Okay, got the holes drilled out on all the corners, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go outside, make my marks, and then go ahead and start grinding, cutting away. Okay, the type of disc that I'm using is a 4-inch grinding disc, metal grinding disc, and this is just a simple little grinder. You see, I took my guard off. This is really dangerous. I've actually cut myself with this thing in the past before. But what's good about it is that it has an on-off switch, and so it's not one of those ones you actually push like a pedal. So that's the good thing about this. So I'm gonna go ahead and start cutting on this window right now, and this should only take me, honestly, probably about 10 minutes to do this. So here we go. If you're using a 4-inch grinding disc, it's probably gonna take about 3 discs to cut out that size of a window. So I'm out with one. Okay, remember, most of us are probably working by ourselves, and we want to save this piece of metal that we're cutting out, because I'm going to show you what we're going to do with that in a future video. But if you're working by yourself and you got your bottom corners cut out, and you're pretty much cut out, and you left about 1 inch on the top corners, leave about a 1 inch, and then take some duct tape and put some duct tape on the outsides of where you left that 1 inch, so that when you go to cut that out, that metal doesn't fall onto the ground and get all bent up. We want to save this metal, okay? So duct tape, top corners, this side and that side. So I'm gonna cut that out right now, and you'll see what I mean. Remember, duct tape goes a long way. Pretty much got the metal cut out except for the corners. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna go ahead and apply that duct tape from the other side onto the corners. Alrighty. Now I'll just gut it out. just like that, windows are cut out. So now it's just a matter of just cleaning this up right here and then go ahead and try in the windows and see what it looks like. And just the view from this side. So right before you're getting ready to install this window, you have to measure the exact first hole measurement. And so we measured over 2 1/4 and we dropped down 3/4 of an inch, and that's where the first hole is. So once you get this hole drilled out, then you can easily put this window up, and then it'll kind of just level it out and teeter-totter it. That way you can get the rest of the measurements and get the bottom 2 outside ones done first, and then hit the top 2, and then work your way around and start drilling holes. Okay. We got the bottom 2 screws started, and I put one up on the top corner. And what you're going to do on the very bottom of the window is you're going to flush these right down. Okay, don't tighten them, mash them down, just flush them down. And then once that window's in place, it's level. Now you can just go ahead and put the top corner in, which I did, and I left about a 1/2 inch gap. And now I'm just going to work my way all the way around, and then I'll pull these ones out as I start coming down to the bottom, so I have that 1/2 inch gap. So then when I'm done with that, then I can go ahead and put my silicone underneath that seal, and then, as you know, the window will just squash down on it, making it watertight. I'm getting ready to caulk these windows, but there's one thing that you're going to have to know if you're using the same thing that I am, these storm windows, is you want to leave just 1 screw in each corner. Okay, and the reason why you don't want to have all the screws in here, because when these go to tighten down, you want this to tighten down, and then 1 screw is going to bind it up and hold it up from laying flat down and binding on the caulk and making a good solid mend. So like I say, 1 in each corner, and then as you have the caulk on, you can go ahead and start tightening that side down and just work your way until eventually you're done and you have all the screws in the window and everything's nice and tight. So here we go. Okay, I'm finished up caulking, so now I'm just going to go ahead and start screwing these down, and what's going to end up happening is caulk should just start squeezing its way out on both sides, on the interior and the exterior, and then if there's anything left over, I'll just wipe it off with a rag because I don't need any excess, to be honest, because this is just a flat mount. Okay, got all the windows in and everything has sealed in, and got the caulk nice and tight. You can see there are the stainless steel screws all the way around, and all the windows, they all look pretty good. I'm putting the window in just like you would on a house. Okay, you just put the window up, and this is actually sideways. This storm window is in sideways, so you can see there's a ledge here. But what I was trying to accomplish, I wanted this to be flat, okay, where the window was inside. But that just can't happen because, you know, this water gets in here, runs down this window, and it gets in here, and then it runs on the inside there. I was trying to thicken up that caulk in here so thick that it just was not curing enough. So we're just going to take this window out. We got another one, no big deal. So everybody remembers why we saved our metal sheet when we cut it out, and this is the reason why. I'm going to use a small one right now so you can get an idea of what I want to do. Because these windows protrude out now, I have to kind of build like an angle now for this to fit over the top of this. But basically, this is our protective cover that's going to go over the window. Okay, so that angle iron is going to go over the edge all the way around, and there'll be hinges that will operate up on the top so that this can open up like this and be served as an overhang for all the windows. And when you're getting ready to shut down, well, then obviously you just close this up and it will lock tight over your windows, and there'll be some lock pins on the bottom sides of each corner, okay, making them drain holes. I put them here, 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 just space them out. Okay, so what happens is when the rain runs down the window, if rain does get on your window, it goes inside of these rails on either side, and it just runs right outside of them holes, because you don't want this filling up with water and then coming inside of your truck and then getting all of this all wet. Hey everybody, I'm underneath the truck. Did you know that there is a lot of dead space And when I say dead space, I mean good space underneath this truck. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you just real quick what we are doing with our 40-gallon gray tank. We are going to mount it underneath the truck, just in front of the rear wheels, but not too close to the rear wheels, because you know it's going to be throwing dirt and rocks and so forth, so it might be good to put up a little guard. But as you can see, underneath here is all of this space here, and all we're going to do is we're just going to use a stainless steel slotted, and we're just going to drill holes in this frame here and over here, wherever this 40-gallon gray tank, the measurements are going to be. And we're going to mount it just underneath here. So we started out with the 40-gallon gray tank just sitting out, and then we had the slotted stainless steel, and that right there was 1.5 inches and by 1.5 inches angle slotted steel. And you can get that in 8-footers at Menards, Home Depot, Lowe's, and you just measure it out, and then get yourself some stainless steel 1/2-inch bolts with some nuts and some lock washers, and then simply just find a slot and mend it all together and bolt it up, and next thing you know, you're bolting it to the frame. So let me just show you now what I mean by that. So here it is right here, okay? So as you can see, these are the bolts, and we drilled the 1/2-inch drill holes underneath there in our frame, and that's it. And as you can see, this is my inlet for my wastewater, which there'll be a hole probably somewhere right about here, okay? And this is our drain line here.
All right, so obviously when it comes to cars, trucks, or anything that has rims and tires, the first thing that we look at typically are the rims and the tires. So it's very important that you sand these down and get them nice and smooth before you paint them. Don't just leave them on the truck, okay, because you can't get every little crevice, and it's very important that you do that because people will notice. So take the tire off, sand it down, and then paint it with a nice thick like a enamel paint that you can't clean up with water. That Rust-Oleum, it works best. So what I'm gonna do is take these off right now and paint them up.
Now when it comes to these tires, you can see there's a lot of rust that's built up on here. It's flaked the paint away. So you're probably gonna need a hammer to knock off most of the bigger chunks of rust, and then maybe even a screwdriver to help out. But most definitely what you do need is a wire wheel on the end of your power drill. And honestly, this should do the job. Just all the way around, just all the rims. And then once that's done, you will use a 100 grit sandpaper and just sand that all up and get it just, you know, you want to make it rough, so when you put that paint on there, that Rust-Oleum paint, it just, you know, binds and just seeps right into where the little scratches are from the sandpaper. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and get these sanded down, or my son's gonna get them sanded down, and next time you see these things, they're gonna be all painted up. As you can see, here's a finished product of the tire on, and it looks pretty darn good. And this is one of the front side here. Okay, so we're putting the tires all on, and this is the last tire. So if you're not mechanically inclined when it comes to tires and so forth, there's a special way you have to put tires on. Any type of car tire, especially those that require a plate like this. Okay, so once your plate is on and you push the tire on, all you want to do is just get at least just a couple of these started so that the tire does not, you know, just want to just keep falling off. So when you go to tighten these down, remember, stagger from one side to the other. That way, and don't tighten it down, bind it down as tight as you can. You just want to snug it down so that this plate and this tire can push it and smash it in there level. And that's the problem. What a lot of people do is they just start tightening them down one after another, and then that tire goes on unlevel. Next thing you know, you're wondering why your tires are wearing out fast and you got to wobble to your vehicle. All right, so let's do this. So I'm just going to snug it, not completely tight, and then I'm going over to the other side. And then back over to this side. And I'm just Just staggering. And just like that, the tire is on, so let's get this thing moved over to a different spot because we're going to start painting the outside of this vehicle real soon. As you can see, there's flaking from the previous paint, so the best thing to do is to use your wire wheel with your drill and okay, as you can see, we are painting, and we're using an enamel oil base paint. Why? Because it's thick, it's going to adhere, it's going to last a long time, and we're putting 2 coats on. And it's best that when you're using an oil base enamel, you don't want to use the nappy rollers. You want to use a sponge type roller because it'll leave the little fibers behind. Okay, I learned that on the front grill as we were painting. See if I can zoom right here. You can see there's like little tiny fibers in there, so we let that dry and we tried sanding it, but it's tough with that enamel oil base. It just goes on really thick, which is good. And we would have just automotive spray painted this, but there are like 3 other coats of paint that the previous people have used on this truck, so we just figured that an oil base enamel, because it's going to bond and it's going to last. And so as you can see, we're getting the front face done around the doors and putting 2 coats on, and we're just going to work our way back as weather permits. Again, we know it rains, it seems like every other day here, but we've had a break, so that's why we're doing this right now. You know what, guys, pretty much one of the most important things is when you're going to be building a food truck is that try not to rush it. I know we all want to get the job done quickly and want to get that hard-earned money out there, but try to make the job fun. I mean, I know this is tedious stuff right here when it comes to painting, especially when you're hand painting and rolling a vehicle out like this, but try to make it enjoyable, all right? Because every little effort that you put into your food truck to make it look good, and don't cut no corners, you know. If you see there's blemishes somewhere in the paint, take care of it, because people do notice that kind of stuff. Okay, let's get back to work. Whammo! Just like that, everybody, part 4 is done. I know I was going to cover a few more other things like the FRP board, but listen, there was a lot of little tedious things that we had to do on this truck just to get it showcase ready. Yeah, but in part 5, what are we covering? This time, for real, I'm going to be covering the FRP board, that fiberglass board that goes on the inside, on the countertops, and so on and so forth. But we are also going to be covering your appliances. What appliances do you actually need for your food truck or your food trailer? Freezer chest, here, a small cube freezer, a deep fryer, a hot dog roller, nacho chip warmer, fountain soda machine. Do you even need a fountain soda machine? Yes, you need a fountain soda machine inside your food truck or your food trailer. Okay, so we're going to be covering all that stuff, the who, what, why, when, and wheres. I got a lot of things I'm doing, guys. I mean, there are notifications, okay? There's a little bell at the top there in the corner. All you gotta do is tap that little bell. It will let you know when I do my next videos on whatever I do, either sewing or building a pole barn or building a house, because I'm doing all that stuff right now in the middle of the end of summer, actually. It's August right now. So I'm building a pole barn. I'm gonna be showing you guys step by step also how to build a 30 by 40 pole barn. From beginning to end, passing the inspections. I've done many of them, so this is just going to be another one that I do for myself. I'm in the process of selling this house, moving over to another one on some other land, and just building for another one. Okay, so that's going to be another video. Part 5, it's coming up, guys. I appreciate all of the likes, all the comments. Keep them coming, guys. Keep the comments coming. I really don't mind the comments. I don't go like, oh man, another comment. No, I like comments. It lets me know that you guys appreciate the things that I'm doing, these videos that I'm producing. Yeah, I have all the videos. It's just a matter of time of putting these videos together. It takes time, guys. It takes like maybe like 3 hours, maybe 4 hours to put a good video together in detail for you guys. But I do appreciate it. I'm not trying to just slow up things. I just got 100 things that I'm doing right now. So with that, guys, remember, subscribe, thumbs up, like, comment, spread the word, all that kind of stuff. I appreciate it. Gracias, mi amigas, mi amigos. Remember, the only excuse you can make, guys, is the one you actually say. Get out there, do it. I know you can do it. You've seen it being done. If I can do it, you can do it. It just takes time. Don't be in a hurry. Patience, I know. I don't have patience. I really don't. But I try. I'm working on it. As I get older, I'm working on it. Okay, that's it. Bye-bye, everybody. Cue the music.